listen to him because he's crying and he's in shock, like people that feel things. Something ignited in him somewhere, and he says, I was at Cassie's. And you know what? Everybody else did too. There's no dispute he was at Cassie's. There's really no dispute about that at all. There's no physical evidence in this case at all, which is troubling, and I wish there was, because it would completely exonerate Joshua Young. Not that there's a basis to think he did anything anyway, but there's nothing. There's nothing because it wasn't collected. There's nothing because Joshua Gallagher planned this quite well and left what he wanted you to think happened where it went. Please look at that picture of the wastebasket. It's ridiculous. It's too perfect. Every single assertion he makes to the police is supported by a piece of property, a banana peel, a video, except he really got one over on that alleged pornographic video that doesn't exist because we just caught him in that lie. And what's left is rumor and innuendo and the shadow of a jerk of a dad. And jerk is such an understatement. He terrifies me. Why? Because he terrifies me. Okay? He doesn't cry. Remember what I said? I cried, and I mean, I got him. I won him over because I cried. I cried. Character assassination. The alternating lights discussion and the he's not my blood discussion. It got really quiet in here when that came up. Did that lady call the police and go, I think somebody might have information about this? He was so cold and callous and he didn't cry and he was staring ahead like some little monster or something. No, they went to her later. She was like, now that I think about it, do you think people in this neighborhood weren't talking about what the heck happened to that kid up there and thought about lights, and people were talking about it? We don't even know the context of that conversation. And who cares? Who cares? Who cares? If that's what you need for a murder conviction, we are all in a lot of trouble. He's not my blood. Again, this is a boy. Boys, they're boys. They don't wear their hearts on their sleeve. And even if you don't walk around pouring your guts out, or you're just trying to, he didn't want to talk about it. They said that. He didn't want to talk about this. Never mind the chaos still going on at the house. You heard from Amanda. He's lucky to be alive, and so is she. And so is Kenzie. And that's what it really comes down to, is presumptions, assumptions, inferences. You have instructions in front of you that talk about the presumption of innocence. The police don't have to operate the way that this jury does in terms of these instructions. They got to go with their gut. They got to do that stuff. You got to follow that presumption. You have to hold their feet to the fire. This presumption runs the other way in this courtroom. He's presumed innocent. He's innocent. But those instructions tell you he's presumed innocent. That didn't happen here. It happens from here on out for this boy. Who protects the kids? It's like we just forget about the kids, Why aren't all the kids in this situation victims? Because Gallagher said so. I don't care what Gallagher's motives are. I don't care. I know they don't have anything to do with anybody but his own ego, and you know it too. You know it too. This isn't about loving anybody. People that did what he did don't love people. He doesn't even know what that is. And I really don't hold it against him. He's just incapable of thinking and feeling like people. And that was apparent when he was talking talking about all this stuff. It was apparent. It's not in there. There's something that's not wired right with that guy. But don't think for a minute that this has anything to do with saving his son, the person he got into this mess to begin with. And that's the thing about him. He gets you so far in, you feel so stupid when you realize how bad he duped you. And then you're just stuck and you just have to decide. You just have to decide, am I just going to try to, play it off? Or, you just got to say, I got duped. They got duped. He likes the psychological torture better than anything else. He will do whatever he needs to do because he's got no conscience. And the abuse continues for Joshua Young, who's been in jail for over 2 years over this, with false allegations of confessions by people who say they don't know if he controls them. You probably really didn't believe that was possible for anybody. I don't know if he controls me. Or I'm afraid. That's legitimate. He's had a lot of fun with this. This was his moment in the sun, He told you, he got life. I'm not going to sit, he pled guilty, so our client's innocent. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I don't care what that guy says. I believe he did it because he did it. Don't buy into that stuff. Don't listen to that guy. Don't listen to those people connected to that guy. If you put all of that aside, not that it's believable to begin with at all, because it's factually disproven. If you put all that aside, there is a kid who was sleeping or watching a movie or something somewhat close to the location where a boy was brutally murdered by somebody who really, really enjoyed themselves. And that's disgusting. It's wrong. It's heartbreaking. But so were hundreds of other people sleeping or watching TV or whatever. He was in the vicinity. And that guy's his father. We do not apologize for a child wanting to live with their parents. Who doesn't want to be with their parents? Who doesn't do that? And look at that interview, the clips that you saw, my life is better with my dad and all that stuff. Okay. Did you notice how he was saying, I'm pretty sure that my dad didn't have anything to do with it either? There's a little bit of brainwashed kind of stuff going on right there. And look at how convinced he is. There's no way his dad would do this. He believed he didn't do it. The whole world was talking. Nobody would tell the police. But it was so apparent. The only person that's told the truth throughout this whole thing has been him, except for the CPS I lived here and I was really over here. And so did everybody else. They all did that too. Why are we here? Why are we here? Send this kid home, wherever that's going to be. Just send him home. He's innocent. It's not a not guilty thing. He's innocent and you know it, and I can't believe that we are here. Send him home. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a 10-minute restroom break. Remember your admonition, do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anybody else. Be ready to come back in at 10:25. Let's let them go out front. All rise for the departing jury. You're going to go out front. Here's a 10-minute recess.